And
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know if
welcome
you.
to the Watermelon Podcast, everyone. In this episode, we are talking about um basically game news and some other spicy topics.
Ooh,
Yeah, Kirby, what were you saying?
spicy.
What were you saying,
I
Kirby,
was
real
gonna say
quick?
I don't know if you were gonna say anything else.
Oh,
I don't know if you were gonna say anything else about it, but yeah, he did. As he mentioned, there were some people asking about it, and I won't go too far into what we were talking about. But it was literally just like, "What do you want to do? Do you want to do a live podcast? Sure."
so
That's literally all there was to it.
here we are. uh, for anyone listening on Spotify, wherever else we are right now, Amazon Music, um, welcome. And in our first topic today, Kirby, you pick it. You pick.
I think we should start with something big that we were hyping for a while that finally happened, which was the quote unquote employee work slash vacation we went on,
That one actually
where
was hype. So
where
how?
a oh,
Oh, hey, I have the
I
mic
was
right
just gonna
now. Request to speak using the tool. So we had an employee vacation recently, right? It was hype.
mm,
We traveled in hotel and fun. However, there was a twist. We had no internet the entire time. That was not very fun, was it? Like, um, so because of that, we originally planned to do, I think it was a Jackbox stream, right? But we had to do IRL Cards Against Humanity. That was also still fun, but with less than a bar of signal, uh, that was hard to do.
we were trying for so long to get internet, and yeah, the Cards Against Humanity stream was fun, but to address the elephant in the room, somebody also did a proper face reveal for the first time. And it was very, very groundbreaking and very splooshy.
It was definitely not me. I don't know where you would get that idea that was me from. Um, but um, also we had to end it early because the internet was constantly down, and we were told multiple times, "Oh, it should be working in a few hours. Oh, maybe tomorrow." That never came, so we checked out early. No internet, and also one of the pools that we were using. Apparently they rushed a job with it, but wasn't really that good. Um, they had to close it prematurely, and also we were somewhat running out of food, kind of, and to drink because we didn't get enough. We spent like, what was it, $50 on the food at at the dollar store.
I feel like the point of the dollar store is very important because if you went to like Walmart, $50 would get you nothing. But yeah, if I remember correctly what they said, they rushed a paint job and there were like literally chunks of paint peeling off because of the heat of the hot tub and the jets. And for the rest of the time we were there, it was closed and like nobody was doing anything. Every time we went like by there was nobody in there. I think maybe if I remember correctly, one time in like the maybe 30 to 36 hours that we were there for the rest of the time, there was somebody in there. But it we had fun with the whole thing, but just it could have been a lot better.
You have to keep in mind though, like it's a public pool. For the last okay, hello. For the last bit of the vacation, it was straight up just I was a little bit disappointed their site wasn't very accurate. It was still fun, don't get me wrong. It just wasn't accurate. It just yeah. I felt disappointed. I felt very disappointed. So, next topic. X got bought out by XAI. Not really. Uh, Elon Musk owns both companies.
I don't. Maybe I'm not a businessman, and I won't sit and pretend I know everything. But I think we were talking about this very briefly before we actually got in stream. But the only like decent reason for that would be to avoid either legal issues, get through loopholes, or I've heard of businessmen trying to do deals technically with themselves, but I still don't see like a monetary gain out of it because again, you literally own it. So I don't know how you could get any sort of like practical gain out of trying to sell something you own to yourself.
Um, what I feel is Elon was probably trying to get out of debt and shift how money is coming in and out because allegedly banks were not happy with their giving Elon Musk money and they weren't really making a profit from it and he was running the company into the ground. So my theory, which isn't stating facts, it's a theory, is he was trying to restructure the company to get out of like legal debts or trying to get away from responsibility of the like yeah, he was trying to get out of responsibility of having to pay that back.
I mean, it seems like kind of a cheap way out of it if you ask me, but if I remember correctly, Elon Musk, I'll add the allegedly, but is like terrible with keeping businesses up. He has had so many businesses that have been up for various periods of time and then have immediately like filed for bankruptcy not that long after, with the only two notable ones that I can think of being SpaceX and Tesla, the ones who haven't gone into the ground yet, but from what I've heard, he hasn't even been really putting that much effort into SpaceX, or if he even still owns it. I don't know. I don't follow Muskie Boy, but I can see why the banks would be upset because, from what I know, he is terrible at business management. I don't know.
I I feel it's just all corruption. It is all corruption. It's he from what I hear, he is allegedly given himself some contracts with like SpaceX and NASA and whatever else there is. Uh oh yeah, Starlink. Um which I would say this is controversial, but his AI is okay, Grok. But at the same time, he basically bought a company to steal social media data to train off of. It's not really that good for the user, but it is. It's just wild, man. It's wild.
Speaking of Muskie Boy, there was a minor point that I wanted to point out so that it gets more public attention because it's hilarious. On Twitter, or formerly known as Twitter, X, the the new Assassin's Creed game came out recently, and a lot of people are saying because of the main characters, one of them being an African American samurai and the other one being a female samurai, or something along the lines like that. Point being, a lot of people are claiming it's woke, and if you know how Elon Musk is, he took to Twitter and shared his own 2 cents on it. And Ubisoft basically showed a rare W and roasted the absolute hell out of him in like 1 sentence. I'd have to pull it back up, but it is. You have to hear it to believe it. It is incredible. If you guys didn't know, also, there's the whole thing going on about how Elon Musk is claiming he's an amazing, like he's one of the top either Diablo 4 or Path of Exile 2 players, when it's pretty much been confirmed that he is paying people to play on his account who are way better at the game than him. And he's like, he's paying these people to play for him and then say, hey, I'm the best player. I'm the one who does all this stuff. But the conversation went that Elon Musk replied to someone saying, sellout would be more accurate. Objectively, he is promoting a terrible game just for the money because Twitch streamer Hassan was being allegedly paid by Ubisoft to promote the game and play it on stream, which is what that tweet was referencing. And the official Assassin's Creed account on Twitter replied with, and I quote, is that what the guy playing your Path of Exile 2 account told you? And it's like it's so bad to the point where people are pretty much clamoring and outright causing an uproar about it and requesting that Elon's both Diablo 4 and Path of Exile 2 account get banned for cheating.
Though I have seen it, the them roasting also. They ratioed Elon. Elon saying they're a sellout. Got 39K likes, and Ubisoft got 729K, which is a huge jump. And I've seen a lot of people literally buy the game because Ubisoft roasted him. Um, and so someone else also responded with a screen, or no, the OP of the original tweet responded with a screenshot. Saying Assassin's Creed Shadows isn't a hit Ubisoft desperately needs, analyst says. Um, and Ubisoft responded, our game is out. Because the person is trying to claim Ubisoft is a little bit delaying the game or other stuff like that. It's actually somewhat funny.
We can move on to the next topic in a second, but I wanted to just point out something. I love it when like companies, regardless of how good or bad they are, have absolutely amazing social medias and people who like run the social medias for like Twitter and stuff. Biggest example is Wendy's. Regardless of what you think of Wendy's, Wendy's just be out here on Twitter absolutely flame grilling people. Like there was the one I can't remember what the dude originally said, but like he was trying to what is our swearing policy for these usually? I don't remember, but he was trying to, you know, shit all over
He
Wendy's
was trying to
and
shit all
basically say
over
like,
them.
yeah, I just don't know what our swearing policy is half the time, but basically I won't go find the original tweet. It's gonna take way too long. But he's basically trying to say like McDonald's is fresher, and all Wendy's replied was, or no, I remember now. He said that McDonald's burgers are circle instead of Wendy's burgers being square. So Wendy's burgers are quote unquote unnatural because they're not a circle for some reason. And so Wendy's literally replied with, "Ah, yes, because burgers have that natural shape when you pick them off the burger tree."
That's
And whoever is running Wendy's Twitter is a god. It's amazing.
that actually reminds me of a marketing campaign. I think it. I'm don't quote me on this, but if I recall correctly, restaurant chain Burger King had a marketing campaign where they showed their burgers getting moldy and rotting compared, and next to that they had like a McDonald's burger not doing it, and it actually got them more like people going to the restaurant because they were showing their burgers are actually real compared to the artificial ones McDonald's uses that doesn't, get moldy like food normally does. It is marketing campaigns are actually okay, like Kirby was saying, the Wendy's thing. that was actually somewhat funny, but they can take that too far sometimes. But Ubisoft nailed it here. Absolutely nailed it. It was sweet. It was really, really sweet.
Yeah, it hit in just the right spot while also technically being a like you're gonna sit here and criticize us moment. But something that didn't get criticized in our next topic that we'll go to is the devs of It Takes Two and A Way Out released a game recently titled Split Fiction, and so far it has been getting extremely positive reviews. I personally have not played the game, but I have played It Takes Two. I don't mind It Takes Two, I think it's fun, but like for a game that hasn't been out that long and I believe is still getting like the first wave of patch updates, it's getting like a lot of 4.5 to 5 star reviews. I can try and be better prepared this time, but I will pull up what some people are saying about the game. I was asked to buy the game when it came out. I didn't have any interest for it, but I did know that it was okay. Apparently, it was way more successful than I thought. Dual Shockers 1 hour ago stated Split Fiction broke 3 world records in just a few days. Jesus, what did they do? Including, but not limited to, most local co op game sales within 48 hours. The game released or received critical acclaim and a quote unquote mighty rating on OpenCritic, becoming a hit in multiple categories. And while it is already considered a commercial and critical success, it can now also lay claim to being in the Guinness World Records books for 3 separate achievements, which were achieved within days of each other. Okay, it actually says what ones there are. Most played local co-op video game on Steam with over 200,000 current. Most sold local co-op game within a week of its release. And most sold a local co-op game within 48 hours of release, with over 1 million units sold within 2 days. Holy lord! I knew people were saying it was good, but like, jeez, I didn't expect it to be that groundbreaking.
So that was the game with where it takes two is the game where you split a screen and escape a prison, right?
Yeah,
Okay, that's what I thought. The game, if I recall, it was fine. I don't think it was really revolutionary myself, but it was really, really good. So did you guys hear about Pal World getting crossplay? Because Pal World is possibly getting crossplay. Um, cross-platform play is what I understand. Which, if true, it's definitely needed. The game, though, to me got boring very quick. It, at least to me, it got very boring. But I don't know much about the game, to be honest. Yeah.
I would have to find the image. I'm not gonna reveal it, obviously, but Trevin Pro was talking to us a little while ago because he plays Power World, and he was talking to us a little while ago in a group chat. Obviously, not going to show it. I'm not that stupid, but it was like an image that literally showed a massive Power World update and what it entailed. I could probably, I don't know. I just remember he sent it in Discord the other day. Power World crossplay update. Like it was a huge update and it had a lot of things to it.
Um, we will
Uh,
not comment on that, but he will probably be back in next stream. For anyone
yeah.
listening outside of this, chat asked, "Where is Trevin Pro?" Um, to be honest, I have no idea, but um, hopefully back next stream for so. Yeah.
Uh, Palworld developer Pocket Pair is narrowing in on its big crossplay update, yada yada. In a post on X, Pocket Pair confirmed this update will include multiplayer across all platforms as well as add world transfer for pals. So I'm guessing that means that you can do either account crossovers or like data crossovers. And if that's the case, then this is an absolutely monumental update. I'm not a big fan of Palworld, but I'm happy it's getting a big update.
Some games though keep saying I'm gonna do crossplay or promise how to put it? They promise too much and never deliver. Such as I think it was Warframe saying they're gonna do crossplay or like cross save or something like that, but never did, or account merging. Do Kirby, you remember what it was?
I believe for the longest time they were trying to add cross-platform, and Warframe is still getting a lot of updates, like major gameplay updates, to the point where they're adding brand new game mechanics, brand new worlds, and everything. They technically added cross-platform, but it's not really like gameplay-wise. It's more so just you're able to transfer your data across different platforms. So for example, if you play on an Xbox and you have like half the game completed on PlayStation, they claimed to have added a way to crossfer transfer that data over, and I don't know. From what I saw, it didn't really work that well, but I don't know enough to say anything about that specific aspect.
I think one of the games that perfected crossplay, hate it or not, Fortnite, because that game supports cross-play and cross-platform really well. So you could go on a PC, hop to a PlayStation, have the same thing, levels, play with a friend on Xbox or Switch, vice versa for almost every platform. The only thing that's I don't think you can do is transfer in-game currency, but that's because of a law or rule Nintendo has, I believe. However, I think they did it really well, and Xbox has also been pushing recently for cross-platform play, and they're even putting their right they're putting one of their best racing sims, Forza, on PlayStation now, I believe, and they are adding cross-platform. However, they're making you make an Xbox account to do that, which I understand. However, I think it should be optional. Where if you don't do it, you can't get cross-platform, but if you do it, you can, because not everyone wants to make an Xbox account. It would be the same as PlayStation released their games on Xbox and for the PlayStation. Uh, make that optional. That's just that's just my 2 cents. Another game that does that actually very well, I think, is a cross saves at least. What was it? I can't remember. I actually can't remember. Damn, I can't remember.
This isn't even for good ones, this is for bad ones. Dead by Daylight has a really bad one because technically you're supposed to be able to play with anybody, but especially recently, they have been completely dropping the ball with it to the point where the friends list, especially, will outright bug and will not even let you add friends. I won't tell anything personal, but uh, Gyrim Skamer and I tried to play Dead by Daylight recently, and we play on different systems. The friends list wouldn't even show him. We both literally had to uninstall and reinstall the entire game just for him to show on the friends list. And Behavior, the people who make Dead by Daylight, have claimed multiple times that they're trying to fix it, and every time they release a new patch, they say, "Oh, it should be fixed now," and it is never fixed. And a lot of people, I'm pretty sure, are being turned off of the game entirely because it's impossible to play with anybody who isn't on the same console as you. And I think it's the biggest reason why I do not play Dead by Daylight anymore. I don't know, but something, I guess we could take this opportunity to go through a couple smaller points. The one I wanted to talk about first is the fact that the Minecraft movie that is coming out soon, according to a lot of fans, looks extremely disappointing and is, I'm probably going to get this part wrong, but is projected to be making way, way less than what it should be making. Anywhere
Coming
from
out yet?
55 million to 70. Huh?
I thought it didn't come out until April.
It doesn't. It showed a trailer, and whatever movies do where they do that like extended look at the movie, but it's being projected to be a really bad movie.
With the Minecraft movie, something that really ticks me off is how it's not Steve. It's Jack Black's interpretation of Steve, which really irritates me because he was supposed to originally be like a talking pig or chicken or something like that. But last minute I heard they were made him Steve, which I don't like that. He does not do that well. The movie hasn't come out yet, but from what I've seen in the trailers, he's trying way too hard. I don't. They're trying to go. If you've seen the Jumanji movie, that's somewhat where it seems like they're trying to go. However, flopping miserably. So like when he had continuity errors. He has elytras before he goes to the Nether. How exactly does he have elytras before going to the Nether? Because at least by the trailer, um, he puts the elytra on the kid, the other kid I think, and himself, and fly off. The the Nether portal has the wrong color. That irritates me. They got the entire atmosphere wrong. I think what they should have done is hire animation studio. They're already buddies with One Element Animation. They help Mojang with the trailers for game updates and stuff like that. So literally could have hired Element Animation, someone you already work closely with to do this, but you didn't. That to me is a huge flop.
As much as I am not a big fan of the series, the Mario Brothers movie took that approach and it actually worked, having pretty much the entire movie be animated. And I understand animation takes a long time, and I'm like I said, I'm fully aware of that. But the amount of money that you would have could have put into an animation style similar to like Minecraft story mode or something. I don't know if everybody likes or hates that nowadays, but that was fully animated, and I feel like that was the approach they should have taken, like you said, with the Minecraft movie, and even with a more intensive budget, I'll just say, I feel like everyone would have enjoyed it way more, and you would have made such a bigger profit if you would have just taken the time to make it fully animated.
I actually okay, Kirby, I actually want to hear your opinion. What did you think of Minecraft Story Mode? I actually played it and I actually did really like it. It was very cheesy, yes. However, with how they animated and built the characters, it was okay. It's um, it was a good game. However, I will give them they used a Telltale tool engine, so they were very limited on what they could do. Again,
I
however, they did a lot of good with the writing. Yes, it was crap sometimes. It was cheesy, but I think that somewhat made it better.
I don't know. I got to play through a little bit of Minecraft Story Mode back when it was on Netflix because at the time I just kind of saw it and was like, you know what? A little interactive Minecraft series where I can like actually choose things. That seems kind of cool. And I think I got through the first two episodes. Like I got through the part where you go to that like convention thing and then you have to do that fight near that waterfall or whatever it is in the beginning. I got past that. Oh, I thought it was cool. It was a little. It's just the aspect of being able to watch something and make a choice every so often without worrying too hardcore in a game like I don't know Until Dawn, where literally every single choice you make is going to have a massive impact on everything. It's nice to be able to do that in a sense, but I don't know. I guess my overall point was you can do a lot with little. This is a completely different point, but take Batman Arkham Origins. the company, if I recall correctly, not Warner Brothers, but the other company who was like making the Arkham games, did not have any faith in Arkham Origins whatsoever
Rocksteady,
because they
I
were
think.
waiting for Arkham. I think they were waiting for Arkham Knight pretty much to be, you know, what's the phrase, cooked in the oven a little longer. So they basically dropped it all on a different studio and said, here, make an Arkham game within 1 year, make it somehow better than the previous one, but also make it not good enough to the point where Arkham Knight can beat it. And they barely had anything to work with, but I still think Arkham Origins is the best of the four.
Okay, I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this, but I like the Telltale Batman games. I know, I'm gonna get shit for that, okay? But they were actually okay. I'm not gonna say they were better than Arkham games. I'm not gonna say it's the best Batman medium you could ever watch. What I'm gonna say is on its own was an okay series. I preferred the Arkham games, Arkham City and Arkham Knight and Arkham Asylum. I'm not counting Suicide Squad. Fuck that game. What I am counting is the other ones. The ones that say Arkham, except Origins, I guess. Well, no. I don't remember which one was Origins, actually. There is City, Knight. I, I can't remember.
There was City, Knight, Asylum, and Origins. Origins was the one where it's Christmas Eve and you have Black Mask who turns out to be the Joker putting that bounty on your head where a bunch of villains are trying to come after you. But I don't know. I just like the atmosphere of it. I like how it ended up looking. I think the Batman in that game, like design wise, looks the best. But I'm low key so glad that we have the same opinion that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is not an Arkham game because again, fuck that game.
I know someone who loves it, though. They will hate me for saying this, but they are not in this episode, so screw Suicide Squad and Kill the Justice League. Screw that game. When I have to hear it, it sounds really bad. I know someone who bought it for $5 because they thought it was going delisted. I'm not kidding. The game went on sale for $5 very shortly after launch, which is never a good sign for a game for starters. It, I want okay, so I understand it's going to be very difficult with the main voice actor for the Arkham games being dead, but you can recast. Other games often recast. So you can recast. I would hate if you recasted if he was still alive, but he isn't. So please recast and make a new. No, no, no. I'm not talking about the Meta Quest game either. As good as that is, or is not, I've not played it because I don't think a VR Batman game is a really good idea. Making it exclusive to a VR headset is a good idea. It's wow.
Instead of the anti Snuggles Club, it's hashtag anti Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League Club.
True.
That is a throwback. I don't know if anybody even watching is gonna remember that reference, but that is a throwback. I don't know. We should just do a separate podcast episode on which Arkham games are the best. We'd be here all night. But yeah, rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. It's weird to go back and play the Arkham games now, knowing that he unfortunately has passed away. But as you said, it's like it sucks how many people have to have this explained to them, but death happens. We're all gonna die at some point, and when it happens, you can recast. Like, don't just say, "Lol, you're dead," move on. But like, you don't have to sit and make Batman either not speak or do absolutely nothing just because the guy's dead. There are so many people in the world who I'm pretty sure could do an amazing either Batman impression or just voice it in general. Like, I don't know. This could go into a whole nother conversation about people living in the past and not moving on, but I'm not going to do that to y'all.
Okay, so an example is I think it was Tom Kane who voiced Call of Duty's Takio or what something like that. One of the main zombie crew from Black Ops 1 uh I think it was, didn't die, but he had a seizure, I believe, and he lost the ability to like talk. So like they, I don't know if it's related or not, but then they stopped kind of using that crew. You can recast. I'm just saying, Activision Blizzard King, recast, please. Another example of having to recast is in Destiny 1. One of the voice actors, or was it Destiny 1 or 2? I think it was 1, where one of the voice actors was so bad they had to release a live patch to replace the voice actor with, I think it was Nolan North, which is absolutely funny. They didn't recast because the voice actor was unavailable. They recast because that voice actor was so horrible with his job. It was not even funny.
It just makes me really sad now that for the zombies voice actors, I don't know about Fred Tatasciore, the guy who voices Nikolai, but as you said, yeah, Tom Kane, I think I don't know if it was a seizure or a stroke. It was one of the two, but yeah, he has said he is not. He's expected to make a recovery physically, but he's said he's not going to be able to do Takio anymore. And Steve Bloom, the guy who voices Tank Dempsey, who I still think is the best character, he has said that he can do Tank Dempsey, but for only like very, very short periods of time because the effect it has on his throat. So at the current moment, uh, Nolan North, the guy who voices Richtofen, is the only character who can actively do the voice anymore, and it's depressing because those four are who I spent a lot of my childhood with.
So,
Mm,
Kirby, I have
yes.
I have a proposition. Well, not much of a
Oh,
proposition, but okay. I want you to guess how old Tank Dempsey's voice actor is.
Steve Bloom.
Yep.
I've seen him in interviews, and he has some gray in his beard, so I'm guessing at least 40. Um, I know he has had multiple other very big roles. Like he's pretty much the most popular voice for Wolverine and Sub Zero from Mortal Kombat. I'm not gonna look it up. 53,
53. Nope, higher.
58.
Higher.
There's no way he's in his 60s. God, now I really feel old. Uh, 69, the funny number.
No, actually lower.
63.
Very close. I'll give it to you. 64. Okay, so okay,
He's that old?
okay. So you know Fred from Scooby Doo. You need to guess his age now.
Why do I get the feeling he's older? um,
So you know Fred, right? Just to double check.
yeah.
Okay. So Fred from Scooby Doo, Frank Welker,
I'll start where we ended off last. I'll guess 64.
higher.
Jesus Christ. That is depressing. 69, nice, funny number.
Yes, actually. I,
Oh my
I,
god.
this brings me into a topic. Are recasting. When do you have to do it? Is it just when a voice actor dies or quits, or should there be an age limit so the voice actor doesn't strain their voice? It, because someone that old, are they gonna hurt themselves by having to do a weird voice all the time? Because I'm pretty sure he's been voicing Scooby Doo since the very start of the show. And if I remember right, he might be one of the more consistent voice actors because he was like 1974 or something like that when he was born.
I think Personally, it should be dependent on the situation. If someone is like in their 60s and they can still very easily and very healthily, I don't think that's a word, if they can very, like, if they're still in good health and it doesn't affect them to do the voice, I think it should be allowed. Like, I think if they're in their 90s and they're still like kicking enough to do a voice, I don't know, it depends on a lot of factors. Like, if they still can do the voice and the studio wants them to, but the person themselves doesn't want to, then they shouldn't, because at the end of the day, it's them and it's their voice that's making the character come to life. But I don't think for this specific instance there should be a one size fits all. Like with the guy from Scooby Doo, if he's still confident in doing the voice and he still sounds good and he is fully like gung ho about doing the voice, why not let him? I don't see a reason to cut him off. Like, okay, this brings me to another like random thing. I don't know how many people watch The Price is Right, but the guy who does the show right now, Drew Carey, is definitely up there in age, but he did an interview and he said specifically he wants to host The Price is Right until, and I quote, until the day I drop dead on stage with a microphone in my hand, I never want to stop hosting the show. So I think it, like, depending on that kind of thing, I think it literally just depends on the person and a lot of other varying factors. But oh, I was gonna say we should probably get back on track, but I'll let you say whatever you want to say.
So with this voice actors and having a recast, I hope they. I wanted Portal 3, right? But I'm afraid they'll recast. Um, I think what was his name, Wheatley or GLaDOS, because they did I think it was Geico did a commercial about Portal or in the Portal universe and got Alan McCain, I think is her voice or her name, who voiced GLaDOS, to do her voice in the ad. And to be honest myself, it was very hard to understand. And also the game uh Aperture Desktop, well, isn't really a game, it's more of a tutorial on using your Steam Deck. But I think Cave Johnson actually they could still use the same voice actor. He was able to do it. Recasting they didn't really cast with I think the new Futurama seasons. So with that, you can tell there's a huge difference between last season and current season. But I think it's too bad, and I could actually still hear the voice. They still got it with that. They still got it. It's okay. So have you ever seen Futurama? Right. Uh, go to
I
the oldest season where I'm not gonna spoil it, but with where the loop starts compared to where the loop ends is what I'm gonna say.
That's interesting, but yeah, to get slightly back on track, another small thing I wanted to quickly point out is that Resident Evil, a series that I'm pretty sure a lot of you know, is getting 3 new official made plushies added to its roster. I believe one of them is of Jill Valentine, and one is of Jill, one is of Leon Kennedy, and one of them is of a special zombie. I don't think it's of Nemesis. I think it's just a special zombie in particular. But they themselves are going to be producing this. It's not going to be like just an endorsed thing. It's going to be directly made by them, if I recall correctly. I would have to. Yeah, Resident Evil has unveiled 3 new plushes to the repertoire. Uh, that is not what I wanted to click on. Thank you, Google. I wanted to click on the other thing. It's released plushies of iconic monsters in a cute design. The new plushies, they're based on the character Hunk, a zombie dog, and a special zombie called the Licker, which I'm gonna be very careful on how I pronounce that. Licker, like what you do with your tongue. I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
very careful with how I pronounce that. But Resident Evil is rapidly approaching its 30th anniversary, and because fans are more than ready to see what the future holds, and because Capcom has been readily revisiting the classics, they wanted to add a few new plushies to their repertoire. And they do take some inspiration from the first two games directly. And I feel like. So,
Okay.
no comment. I have nothing to say to that. But I don't know if you can show images on stream, but I'm trying to find an image of, because it's based on, if I recall correctly, they're slightly based on, it's Capcom obviously who helps with Resident Evil, but it's like a side brand for Capcom that is still directly managed by them. It's almost like Squishmallows, if you know what those are. And again, I don't know if you can show images, but I'll copy paste an image in Discord. I don't know if you can show them that, but that's the official image that they released
Uh,
for
sure.
promotion of what they're releasing.
Give me a second to show it.
Let's say one of them is based on Hunk, as I said, who is another character from the game, and then the other two are based on special types of enemies. This is just a personal thing, but I've been playing through Resident Evil recently, and I love the game already.
But why?
A spooky zombie game.
It's which Resident Evil, the original or?
3.
Okay, so this is the photo that Kirby's talking about. Explain it to them.
The one on the left is supposed to be, again, a character based off of a character named Hunk, who I believe has been multiple games, but I. Okay, I could be wrong on this, but I believe his first appearance was in either Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 2 Revelations. He's basically just a really big, slightly mutated dude in a, I believe, SWAT suit. And the middle one is supposed to be the licker. Again, I'm gonna be very careful with that. And the one on the right is supposed to be the zombie dog. And as you can see in the corner, again, it's a foreign like side company for Capcom, or like, I don't know, one of their special branches specifically made for this type of deal. I believe they've made plushes before, but these are just the new ones that are supposed to be like, I don't know, limited time things. Like they've partnered with Funko Pop before and a few other like bobblehead things that they've made, but these are just the new ones. I don't know, just a side thing, but they're kind of cute.
Companies that release merch, they need to get it right though. Some do not know how to do it. Some really do know how to do it. One of the worst ones I have seen, I think, was Fallout with their mask becoming moldy when they got it, and it was very hazardous. Ironically, being a Fallout merch, but
Yeah.
Bethesda somewhat half-assed it, and um, yeah, Bethesda like uh, yeah, yeah. Give me a second, guys. Okay, yeah. Bethesda somewhat like half-assed the merchandise for Fallout and didn't quality check, and Fallout being a thing of radiation and other stuff. Very ironic. Um, yeah.
Number one, to be entirely fair, when has Bethesda not half-assed anything they've done? And number two, another thing we can quickly point out before we get back into some of the major stuff is the upcoming sequel to Avengers Endgame, Avengers Doomsday. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because of a couple small little tidbits. The fact that I believe the Russo brothers, Anthony and Joe Russo, the people who have directed pretty much every Avengers movie to this point and are huge directors for a lot of Marvel, when Endgame came out, they said it was going to be the last Avengers movie. not like the last Marvel movie, but the last major Avengers movie. And now
Based.
there are two more technically come. There are two more coming out. Avengers Doomsday, which is now confirmed to be in production, and they've uploaded. I was about to say skid bits for some reason, tidbits to their YouTube channel, literally officially confirming that it's in production. And there's another one coming out soon, I believe, called Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, because of some other character. But it's notable because Robert Downey Jr., the man who is usually casted to play Iron Man and who most people know as Iron Man, said he does not want to play Iron Man after Endgame, but is fully fine with playing Doctor Doom in the new movie, and has even like accepted the role, and he is now officially going to be Doctor Doom in the movie, along with a few other people who post Endgame said they were never going to act in another Marvel movie again, and are of course now coming back to act in another Marvel movie. So I'm excited because it's an Avengers movie and I do like Doctor Doom, but personally, I think why go through the whole thing of saying, especially on interviews, like the guy who played Captain America and the guy who played Thor have both said that they do not see themselves ever playing the character again, and then boom, what do you know? They're back. Like I I get money talks and maybe I don't understand how the movie industry works, but like if you're going to make that sort of bold claim, I feel like you should stick to it. And even if they come to you with an offer, you could say like, look, I really appreciate it. I really hope the movie goes well. I hope the best of luck to you guys, but I said I don't want to play this character anymore, and I'm not going to play this character anymore. But again, I guess money talks in some capacity, no matter who you are, and maybe the maybe the money amount was way too high to turn down. I don't know, but that's just me.
I feel that the series is somewhat overrated. It's overstayed its welcome. Uh, with Marvel, it's been going on so long. I'm just uh, I kind of lost interest a long time ago. I don't think I really ever liked the franchise because they keep releasing movie after movie after movie. And at this point, if I want to catch up, I would have to watch so many different movies. I really don't have the attention span or will to do. So they're gonna at this point they're gonna start losing audience Marvel because of that, and I really just don't want to do that. Um, the characters are also somewhat annoying. I think the series is very fell off. I think it was at Endgame. I will give some credit where it's due. I like Spider-Man movies; so those are good. But past that, I really don't know. It's just not something I'm too interested in.
It's weird because like there's a lot of factors that play into it, and getting back technically to the Portal conversation, this was another big reason I believe as to why they didn't want to make Portal 3. The straight up confirmed reason is because they are dedicating more manpower to innovation than to potentially making a Portal 3. And because I think you and I were talking about how they're spread very thin as it is. But the point I'm trying to make here, Endgame had such a good ending that making another one, same with Portal 2. How do you follow a really good ending like that? Portal 2 had the ending where you literally are shot into space briefly and then you get pulled back and you get your freedom, but you're pretty much in Half-Life slash Android hell now. And then with Endgame, with Infinity War, how it ended is Thanos won, and then at the end of Endgame, just when you think he's going to win again, Iron Man dies, pulls the switcheroo, and then they win. And then it ends with Iron Man's funeral and everything wrapping up in like a nice bow. So again, the question is, how do you even follow that? There's like, even if you do follow it, there's no way to follow it without kind of making that ending feel less special because it's not the ending anymore. There's more after it. So it kind of just makes every special moment that happened during that ending less meaningful. But I don't know. I still enjoy a good Marvel movie from time to time. Just I do agree on the fact that they're probably running it way too thin. But another big topic we could talk about that also ties into running too thin. Nintendo Direct happened recently. In fact, at the time of doing this podcast, it happened 2 days ago. And there are definitely some things to talk about. Let's just say that.
I am not very interested in it. Well, I'm not gonna say interested in it. I'm not very. They announced a thing called the digital cartridge, which is raising way more questions than it does answers, and it also is um doesn't make much sense to me, basically, because how it seems is you can have a digital cartridge loaded on your device. Then, if you want to play it on another device, you have to take that digital cartridge out, then load it into the other device because it's bound to one device at a time, which is very confusing because I think a better way is going what Steam does with their Steam Deck, where the games are tied to the account, but you can make a Steam family and share games that way. Or what Xbox does, where you can designate a home console where everyone can share the games on that device. However, the games are tied to your account instead of being a cartridge you load and unload. So it's more of a library system like Steam or Xbox or probably I think the PlayStation does. It just does not make much sense. It none at all. It actually irritates me. It's anti-consumer. That's what it is. All of Nintendo's decisions are anti-consumer. It pisses me off.
A lot of stuff about the Switch 2 is just so fucking stupid. And I
This
agree
isn't
with the
Switch
fact that
2.
it's literally or just Nintendo in general, honestly. But another thing I heard, I don't know if this is true, so I'm just gonna say allegedly, but you can put on the Joy-Cons. Okay, I should probably clarify this first. There was a less of a rumor and more of like kind of like more like an estimate with evidence behind it. Not so much a game theory. Thanks for watching, but more like an educated guess that you'll be able to take your Joy Cons off the Switch 1 and use them on the Switch 2 for some reason, which kind of just kills the whole point of the new Joy Cons. But apparently, allegedly, according to rumors, you will be able to put them on upside down and they'll still work for some reason. And the only reason I point this out is because it would be a purposeful thing. And I already don't like the idea of the new Joy-Cons because for anyone who doesn't know, Nintendo has basically confirmed that they're going to be connected by magnets. So instead of the whole thing where you press the buttons and slide them off the system, you can just hit the button and pop them off. And the stupid thing about that as it is the fact that it's a handheld console, so you're going to be carrying it everywhere. So all it's going to take is a little force for you to accidentally shake the Switch and have one of the Joy-Cons pop out, and then your Switch is going to go careening to the floor. But with that, the if it is true that you will be able to put your Switch 1 Joy-Cons on there and put them on upside down for some weird reason, it would completely kill the magic of the new Joy-Cons being made out of magnets. And I could go on and on about all the dumb decisions that they're making with the Switch 2, like the fact that you can literally, allegedly, play Switch 1 games on Switch 2, but you can only play certain games and you have to use the OG Joy-Cons for them. They're not even doing like backwards compatibility. They're literally just saying, so you can play your old games on this system, but you have to use the old Joy-Cons and it's only very specific games. And it just seems like Nintendo is purposefully giving us a giant middle finger at this point.
Okay, so you have to use the OG Joy-Con, so you can't use the ones that come with a new console. So there's
For Switch 1 games specifically, you have to use the old Joy-Cons.
what the it's
It,
that doesn't make any
it,
much sense. Like, can't they do a compatibility layer? Like, you can play Xbox 360 games on this Series X just fine. Couldn't so Microsoft was able to figure it out. I'm pretty sure you can do the same on PS5 with PS4 games. A PlayStation
Mhm.
has that figured out.
I can confirm. I I still load up my 4 from time to time, but even on 5, I'm able to stream PS3 and even PS2 games on there for free as long as I have internet. And I don't have to use a PS2 controller. I can literally just use the same one. So I don't understand why Nintendo can't just do that.
So both game companies have that figured out, and Nintendo, a multi-billion-dollar company, can't even figure it out. I'm noticing a pattern I'm not really liking. Is it Nintendo is lazy? Who could have guessed? They do the most anti-consumer stuff. They're removing Nintendo's gold incentive program. What was it? They love their lawsuits. You can sneeze and Nintendo's lawyers will be at your door. Um, they're doing the Switch cartridge system that is anti-consumer. A library system would be way better. How much more anti-consumer can they get? Okay, like chat said earlier. Yeah, I agree with chat. I don't support Nintendo. Well, not anymore for me. I really haven't ever supported Nintendo. The only Nintendo thing I really have any interest in is Pokemon occasionally, but I really don't spend money or invest money into it.
I personally, the second I'm able to rebuy Dark Souls on PlayStation or on Steam, I'm going to, if it's even available on Steam, I'm going to literally sell my Switch and all the shit for it. But I don't know. They're just extremely lazy, and my brain hurts literally thinking about it. But something you could also argue is lazy is the God of War show that's apparently on Amazon, and the fact that the showrunner literally admitted that he didn't even play the game before going through with the show, which literally just reminds me of the time that the original creator of the God of War games went on record to say that he absolutely hated the direction they were taking with it. And when stuff like this happens, it kind of gives weight to those claims. I won't read the entire article, but Ronald D. Moore is one of the producers who brought us Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica, and he was named showrunner of Amazon's upcoming adaptation of God of War. And he literally admitted he hasn't played the games and does not plan on playing them anytime soon. Yet he is put in not complete charge, but in partial charge of a series literally centered around the games. And this is going to be extremely obvious. I was about to say this, but I literally scrolled down and saw a tweet that basically said what I was going to say. From Happy Captain, they said, people that haven't played the game shouldn't be allowed to make the shows or movies. Period. This should be a rule. And that is my exact point, because literally, like, it's common sense. Imagine Imagine Typical Thieves and I had never played like any Call of Duty ever. We had no idea what the series was, and then all of a sudden, a company who was like a huge movie company was going to come to us and say, "Hey, can you guys be the main directors for the new Call of Duty movie?" And we accepted it. It would turn out bad because we literally have never seen the game. We've never consumed any media about the game before, and it's the first time we're ever hearing of it. Like, I know it's not that extreme in the other dude's case. He at least knows what God of War is, but like, if you're gonna make a game or a movie dedicated to a game with a full blown story and everything, you should at least have basic knowledge of the series as a whole. And it just seems like everybody in the movie industry these days is just making the laziest and most corner cutting decisions possible. And again, it blows my mind that literally these people who are supposed to be controlling most of our entertainment can be this lazy and stupid.
Moving on, uh, apps doing overhauls. This last week, this week, the chat app Discord released a new UI refresh to the dismay or enjoyment of some. Mainly dismay. It was a big change. They made uh UI elements a lot more blocky, and a lot of people don't like it. My gripe with it is the left hand side menu when you're like in a call and using the app now is way too big. Um, and additionally, the yeah, just the entire menu is way too big. I do not like the new title bar. I don't mind the rest of the changes. However, those two are the ones that like irritate me. The title bar one I can get more used to. The one where the bottom left hand side that has like your profile, settings, mute, deafen, saying you're connected or playing or streaming a game. That is way too big. They need to change that. Make it back to how it was, a lot smaller. A lot of people don't like it more than I don't, because mine is just I have very specific nitpicks, but most people are saying that it like makes them throw up. Blah blah blah. They don't like change. I don't like change either, but it is just like I like it, but also that one specific thing pisses me off. That one little thing.
I totally was not sitting here testing out default compact and spacious as we were making that point. When I loaded up Discord earlier, I had it in spacious just because I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to get myself into. I don't know a lot of the technicalities to making a chat app, but just looking at it in default mode, I do agree that the thing on the left side when you're in a call or in a chat is way too big. Like, as we're in a VC right now, the thing in the lower left corner where it says the voice is connected is like taking up the entire left side of the screen, it feels like, and it's way too big. I I think they also added slightly varying. I mean, they had varying like light and dark modes before, but they made a slight update to it to where you can either pretty much have it midnight black or you can have it pretty light. Yeah, onyx, dark, ash, and light. I have it on onyx right now, and I do honestly like it a lot. But I I think saying it makes people want to throw up is the big overreaction. But is it the greatest thing in the world? No. But dude, is there little things here and there I like? Yeah, I don't hate it.
I think one of the worst parts though is again the thing on the left hand side. If they put that back so it's not covering up the server drawer, I think that would improve it a lot. Another thing that I'm pretty sure they're doing A, B, C, D testing for it to see the reactions of people with different um changes they're looking at, and they've been rolling this out slowly by giving people different versions or different styles. So, for example, one of the other owners of Team 84 official, Trevin Pro, had the new call layout, while I didn't, and he did not seem to like it too much. I couldn't really tell. I'm not gonna speak for him. He might have liked it or not minded it, but or it could have more been a, oh, that exists. Okay, I'm moving on type of thing. But it's cool and all, but just that one small thing makes me Discord just change that. And one of the other changes that they're apparently looking for is being able to expand and collapse the server drawer, because I know now you can collapse and expand the channel list or whoever DM'd you list and now, but that isn't really the same as the channel list that's always on your screen. Give us both maybe, or let us like combine it inside of a fly out drawer type of thing. Some other apps actually did that very well. I could spend hours talking about this. I'm sorry.
There was just a point I wanted to make, and I'm not outing anybody with this. It's just I feel like a lot of people forget it. When something can be bad or good, but I feel like the mistake a lot of people make when it comes to this is when, let's just use Discord as an example. When they release something that not a lot of people like, their first instinct is to like just completely shit all over them as a company and say like this is horrible. But I feel like just the art of constructive criticism as a whole is kind of lost. Like there are some people who still will leave genuine good constructive criticism and say like this is what I like about it, but this is maybe what I don't like. And I feel like if any company will actually listen to it, it's Discord. Like they'll actually look at what people are saying and take it into account. And it does suck because it goes both ways. Because of course a lot of companies will look at said constructive criticism and just ignore it, which then leads to people not wanting to give any more of it. But I guess I just wanted to do a little PSA and say if you're gonna complain about something online, try to give constructive criticism because then people will more likely to listen and actually apply what you're saying to their product.
Yeah, something that I like. You should be able to give good props where it's also due. With the new UI, I myself have found it's actually been a lot faster, and I feel the client is using up less resources on my machine specifically. I'm not saying that's going to apply across the board, but I have two Discords open right now. One hasn't been updated in like a month. This one has been updated today, and it's using like 50% less resources. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. However, it is. Another change that I guess I can. I don't like it, but I don't hate it is the top bar where they moved the inbox and update ready icons and all that to the top bar, which I don't like the change, but it's like I like and dislike it. I can appreciate it. You don't have to like it, but you can appreciate it, if that makes any sense. Something else that they changed slightly is being able to collapse the channel list to be very small. However, something I don't like about that is sometimes when I try to do it, I will accidentally select text instead. So I guess the hitbox should be maybe expanded a little bit. I'm not sure what the exact term I should be using is other than hitbox. So that's what I'm gonna just say. Something else I appreciate though is the redesign for the settings. That is actually slick. It's not too much. And something else I can appreciate is they changed the UI look, but didn't change what elements are like they did with the mobile app. So if you had a lot of muscle memory of using the app of where stuff is, you still know where it is. The muscle memory is still there. It looks different, but this is part of why companies do ABCD testing. I think at least I'm pretty sure. So if they make a change that's unpopular, they will get a little bit of criticism online compared to if they released it to everyone at once, which they have been slowly doing over the last coming months actually. And it used to be, from what I recall, the UI was they changed way too much. And I think this is actually a happy medium of not changing too much. Because if I recall correctly, they wanted to move the left hand side panel to the top. So the server list would be at the top instead, if I recall. Something like that, or was that the bottom? And they wanted to change the UI elements everywhere. Didn't go well. They removed that. And this is where we're at right now. I actually appreciate it. But don't hate on them just for that. Be hopeful with their criticisms. With their criticism, don't just hate for hating. Provide feedback online. They have a feedback forum you can go to publicly. Uh, go on Twitter and at them and be like, "Hey, change this."
I feel like a lot of people forget the phrase if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like if it's perfectly fine where it is and everyone likes where it is, why go out of your way to try and change it? I mean, I guess it's fine to experiment and like typical thieves said, be sure to give constructive criticism and helpful criticism and not just say you suck, this is horrible. Because that doesn't tell them anything. That doesn't tell them what's bad or what's horrible about it. That just says that it is. Like that doesn't do anything for anybody. But Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Okay, with something like this, I'm going to say not to Discord specifically, but to companies in general. If you're to do a UI refresh like this, and you're a multi-billion-dollar company, or multi-billion-dollar company for that matter, give an option to revert back to the old UI if you do a complete refresh. Especially if you're changing muscle memory and stuff. The reason is you might be breaking accessibility suites and stuff like that. Users won't like it, and then gauge how many users revert back to the old UI versus stay on the new one. Or uh, make the new UI optional in settings, then let users revert after they change to the new one, and gain retention for the new one. Ask for feedback, try another rollout, see until you get a very high number. Because if you're going to be changing way too much, you don't want to piss off your users at all. It is not really good for the future of the company. Okay, for example, of pissing off your users, actually. Um, okay, Kirby, you know Skype, right? And how it's shutting down?
I thought it already did, but yeah.
I don't think it has yet, but Skype has or is shutting down, and Microsoft killed it basically. They took the axe
Oh,
and murdered it. They started adding too much ads into the platform. They refused to adapt with the times. Discord came in and basically killed Skype. Then Microsoft released Teams. It was very redundant to have two apps at once. And they're just killing it. Not many people use it. Discord killed off Skype. And then, I think right now Discord is the top dog for most things. However, there is TeamSpeak, which is gaining momentum, but not too much because they require you to host your own servers for money compared to uh yeah. I definitely remember what I was saying just there. I definitely did not lose literally my sentence mid talking.
totally. That's totally not what happened. But say the last thing we have lined up to talk about, we can still mess around, but the last thing we have lined up to talk about is very, very briefly the JFK files being released. We're not going to try and go to political standpoint and everything, but they were released. He did, in fact, I don't think I have to explain who he is, but he did, in fact, say that they were released.
Um
And
it confirms that he died.
yeah, that's
Um
basically all it is.
the JFK files were released and it confirms stuff that people already thought. I think some of it disproves some of that stuff. Politic this, politic that, politic this, politic that. You get what it is, man. Oh, now,
Half our
now,
viewership just leaves.
now for this one where we can close, let me talk. This is gonna be fun.
Ooh.
What mechanics can make games better? Okay.
I was thinking about this for the entire time, but you know how in Portal 2, for that segment, not the end, but for like a good segment of the end, GLaDOS is in a potato?
Yeah, potatoes.
Have it to where, okay, I've been thinking about this and this is really stupid. Potato launcher. GLaDOS is attached to a string on the portal gun, and if you click down your scroll wheel, it will launch GLaDOS at whatever you're looking at. And because it's attached to a string, you can either scroll back or front the scroll wheel to reel or unreel GLaDOS back in.
GLaDOS. Okay, where do you get the potatoes from, though?
You just launch GLaDOS over and over again.
So
It's
yeah,
like launching a fishing reel in Minecraft.
but like, so it's on a string,
Yeah, like how
or do you have,
GLaDOS,
or do you have to go pick it up
like,
like a basketball?
no, you can just like scroll the scroll wheel back and it'll reel GLaDOS back into the portal gun.
True. Okay. Imagine, but
It
we combine that with actual guns too and zombies.
just GLaDOS is just like, sorry, while you were dead, there happened to be a zombie apocalypse breakout in the Aperture Science Enrichment Center.
I actually want a Portal game where there's zombies and you have to like to fight your way through like the horde and stuff like that. And instead of being a puzzle game, well, it starts off as a combination between a puzzle, a runner, a first person shooter, and a bunch of other things. So it's like a combination of a bunch of different games in the enrichment center. And you're going through like the back at rooms, you're going through the chambers, and there's multiple ways you can destroy the chambers with explosives. World is a very interactable.
Portal 2, but there's head crabs.
Yes. Oh,
Just fucking,
tank. Oh,
oh dear god.
I don't know if we want to see GLaDOS do that.
Just depends who you ask on the internet, I guess.
Okay, but no. And we add Rectophim and Nikolai and Dempsey and Takio.
Now I'm just imagining this weird, like, mix of the Half-Life 2 thing and the Portal 2 thing where you could, like, instead of weapon swapping, on one inventory you have, like, an AR or, like, the pulse rifle, and then if you weapon swap, it pulls out your portal gun. And I'm just imagining people, like, doing speed runs where they weapon swap, shoot one of those orbs that bounce around and kill whatever it touches, and then like mid-air weapon swap to the portal gun and do like a quick portal, then just keep weapon swapping as they're freaking strafe running throughout the facility.
Yeah, you integrate strafe running into as a core mechanic, which would mean probably making it easier to do. But okay, so we
Similar
add
to the
Mirror's Edge into the mix, or whatever it's called, Dead by Daylight.
say, oh god.
So you can like drop kick zombies off ledges, and all of
Oh,
that.
dying light. That's what
Oh,
you're thinking of, dying light.
yeah, Dying Light. So you can drop kick zombies off of ledges. Uh, you can run and gun, have explosives. Hardcore like Assassin's Creed. That
Now
actually
I'm just
be.
remembering all the times that I'd be playing Dying Light, and I would go up to like those really big dudes who have the giant like pipe, and I would only kill them by drop kicking them over and over again.
The more I'm talking about this, the more I'm sad it's not an actual game. This needs to be
I
an
just want to
actual
see like
game.
just add like a really shitty like GIF file of the dropkick animation into this game. So every time you dropkick, it's not even like a proper animation. It's literally just like a copy pasted GIF of the dropkick animation from Dying Light.
Oh, and something else I want to see is like you can go somewhat in an open world, but it's all apocalyptic. Nuclear fallout, all of that. So it's literally like a natural disaster has happened, a zombie apocalypse, and you're just surviving in Aperture Science because where else are you gonna go? Black
Hear me out,
Mesa?
Portal 2, but hear me out, Portal 2, but it's played like the Stanley Parable.
Oh my god, that would. This is a story about a man named Stanley. Stanley was employed for 2-7.
It's instead of that, it's just GLaDOS. This is a story about an Aperture Science test subject named Chell.
This is a story about a man who flipped my life and turned it upside down. Something I don't know the rest of the Bel Air thing. I haven't listened to it in a hot minute.
All I know is that he spent most of his days on the playground shooting b-ball outside of the school.
But there are people who are up to no good, making trouble in his neighborhood. And his auntie and uncle got scared and said, "You're moving with the aunt." Or no, his mom and dad got scared and said, "You're moving with the auntie and uncle in Bel Air." I need to watch that show again, man. It's actually so good. Oh, Portal 2, Stanley Parable, but it's GLaDOS as the narrator. However, halfway through, you it switches to the Stanley Parable narrator, and you have to go and fight with who you want or like the most by following their instructions, and they're arguing the entire time like a married couple.
That low-key seems like something that actually would happen in the Stanley Parable.
Because wasn't in the newer Stanley Parable deluxe edition, um you could go outside of the facility and you're inside of like it was basically like somewhat run down, and he goes fourth wall breaking about Steam reviews for the game and stuff like that. And if you and somewhere else in the game, you get into other games because in our first one I think it was Minecraft, but in the second one I think you went into Rocket League, or the deluxe edition I think it's Rocket League instead of Minecraft.
I just remember the one ending of the game where you got to the skip button, and then like every time you hit the skip button, the amount of time you skipped increased. So it went from like 5 seconds to 30 seconds to like an hour, and then next thing you know, you were skipping like literal decades.
I annoyed my parents with that game because they wanted me to put on headphones when I played it. The
Yeah, you come if you come back and then the narrator's all like, "Oh my God, you're finally here! It's been like 5 years."
um then I think it goes 10 years, and you finally get out because one of the walls crumpled. And
Yeah,
then
it's literally been like so unbelievably long that the whole facility or the whole room you're in is just like rotted and you're in the middle of the desert.
oh, and that's where you get the gym button, right?
Yeah, I think it was one of those endings where you get like this button says your name, and then you just press it, and it just says Jim, and I'm like, well, it's only programmed to say Jim right now, but
That is something I would do. It's a temporary thing that lasts forever. Okay, kids, remember, there's no permanent solution like a temporary solution. Take it from a programmer. You implement
that
something as a temporary fix, as a temporary implementation, and it lasts forever.
reminds me how literally fucking I've said this before, but the four main FNAF characters literally were not supposed to be named Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, but Scott Cawthon grew so attached to them during dev testing that he didn't even bother coming up with another name, and he just kept those names.
Jim, the bucket ending in the Stanley Parable. I
My
know they.
TV is not connected to the internet anymore. That's fun.
I know in the Stanley Parable, the first one was built in a Source Engine. Was the second one Unity or Unreal?
I'm not entirely sure with that.
I want to say Unreal, but Unity sounds more right. Because I like the Unreal Engine. I know someone I know has been messing with the Unreal Engine and trying to create basically a Roblox obby.
Oh,
You know the person. He's shown it to
again,
us.
oh,
He's shown it to us.
has he?
Yeah. Also, oh, okay. Get this, right? A game like Minecraft, but with but it's basically Battlefield with Battlefield destructible physics.
Minecraft, but Oh, I was gonna say something. Minecraft, but the entire world has destructible physics, but I realized technically Minecraft already has destructible physics.
But it's a battlefield level with indestructible physics.
I don't know. I want a whole game like Teardown where you go through. I don't know. I want like a Call of Duty game, but it's built like Teardown. So when you shoot a box, a bunch of like shrapnel flies everywhere, and literally everything is breakable.
I've been wanting to actually play Teardown, but I haven't gotten like at like I don't own it. There's a
The
lot
other
of
problem with
games
it
I've
is the
been wanting
fact
to
that
play.
the only other problem with it is the fact that building that many destructible items is going to be a complete brain sore on most computers.
Is it? How much is the game's processing, or what is the game's like system requirements then?
I have no idea. I've been wanting to play it for a while, and I even personal channel wise, I've had a few people asking me to play it, and I don't know. I don't think any device I have could actually handle it. Well,
Yeah.
maybe the PS5, maybe, but I don't know.
Okay. The game system requirements aren't too high. Uh, Quad core CPU, 4 gigabytes of RAM, GTX 1060, 3 gigabytes.
I mean, I guess technically I should re-clarify what I'm saying. I want a destructible game that actually has like non-pixelated physics, because things like Minecraft, where you can technically break everything, they all have like block or pixel physics. Imagine a game that had like GTA 5 graphics, but literally everything was breakable. Like you could fly into buildings in GTA 5 and they would actually explode and break.
Yeah, that would be sick, actually. I know some games, but I don't think those were ever released. There was for a while. No, I think the closest we ever got was Battlefield or something like that.
Which one? 2042?
Don't most Battlefields have destructible physics?
I don't know. I don't play Battlefield.
I don't play it either.
Well, shit.
Do you know what we should play Battlefield for stream once?
I mean, it'd be a game that none of us have played before, so it'd be a fresh experience.
I forgot I have a game open in the background, so I minimized the script, and this is what I see.
Oh, Lord. Do I even want to know?
I minimized the script. Oh, hell, okay. Um,
To be fair, I haven't been playing it, but I've literally had Call of Duty Cold War just sitting in the background on the pause menu.
yeah, I minimized the script, and that is just straight up what I see. The photo is
Yeah,
sending.
that's. I'm scared. That actually would be a amazing stream idea. Team 84 plays games we've never played before.
True.
Well, time to do the typical YouTuber bait. If you guys want that, you know exactly what to do.
Oh, I think that's funny. I got jump scared by her.
Poor Clementine. Paul. Not even pause, it's just Paul.
Paul.
Paul. That literally looks like a meme image you'd see on like 4chan or something.
Yes, chat.
Team.
That is what I was playing. How did he know? How the hell did chat guess?
I think it was just based off the fact that I said Clementine. Oh yeah, did we tell them about the planned and eventually scrapped Team 84 Telltale Walking Dead series that we were gonna do?
What?
Did we tell them about how a long time ago we were gonna do a series on when it was still just you and me? We were gonna do a series on The Walking Dead's Telltale.
Uh, chat, really. Chat.
What?
Okay, but no, I don't think I've ever told them that.
Uh, well, considering it's already out, I might as well. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but yeah, we a long time ago, I think back in like the 2021 or 2 days, Typical Thieves and I were gonna do a series where we both. You can't really multiplayer the game, but he was gonna play it, and I was just gonna watch through Discord. And I think the clip is still on our website, the Officer Goddamn clip.
Chat said do a Walking Dead stream.
I mean, we'd probably have to start from the beginning.
I want. What am I on right now? Season 2, I think. I don't even know how long I've had the game open. Hang on, give me a second to check how long this session has been.
I was gonna
I
say something, but I don't want to spoil anything.
fuck. Why can't I? I'm trying to screenshot this. It's not letting me screenshot. The window keeps disappearing on me. Oh right, the Discord's um streamer mode. Hang on, give me a second. Okay, I disabled streamer mode. Am I gonna be able to? Can you guess how long I have on record on this game so far with this one session?
I mean, I could just check your Discord, but
That's not gonna be accurate because I updated this instance. The other instance hasn't more accurate.
that's just making me wonder something, and I kind of want to check it now.
What?
I mean, this technically is an unofficial addition to the list, but PlayStation for some reason does not like you checking how many hours you have in games. PS3 and PS4 both don't really do it, although technically on PS4 you can cheat it a little bit and you can check your friends' hours in games, but now I'm just wondering if the PS5 allows you to see how many hours you have in certain games.
So no guess.
Uh, 30 hours?
Uh,
Oh, I was not even close.
that's not total. That's this session. I just haven't closed the game. I've been
My
going to
like
I've been going to see how long until people start noticing and saying something, and I've already gotten multiple things being like, "Hey, why are you playing the game? You should close it. Go to sleep."
I I'm literally just sitting over here being proud that my like highest played game on Steam has like 300 hours and you're just over here doing a third of that casually.
It's a good game. What can I say?
Hell, Black Ops 2 is only like my third highest played Steam game.
Oh, I own this game. I think it's on yeah, it's on Epic. So my
Someone
most
should
played Steam game.
That's such a dumb joke.
Guess my most played Steam
That's-
game and get a cookie. Not really, but
Why is it that the first joke that came to my mind is that someone should make a competitor brand to Epic and just title it Awesome?
I wouldn't be surprised if someone did that. I know Amazon for a while tried to compete with the Amazon Game Store. However, they failed miserably, making that Prime exclusive.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably their first major mistake.
The three biggest major PC game stores right now, I think, is Steam, Epic, and Microsoft.
My dumbass was gonna say Game Jolt.
What the hell is that?
You've never heard of Game Jolt?
I've heard of it. I don't know what it is.
It's like the biggest online store right now for like indie games.
Isn't that Itch or
My
Green
next one
Man
was gonna be
Gaming?
Itch, but
Green Man
say
Gaming.
it's either Game Jolt or Itch usually is what most people talk about.
I don't know, man.
My dumbass didn't even think of Microsoft. I was like Steam, Game Jolt, and Itch.
Microsoft because they own the Xbox app, which a lot of
Yeah.
people use because Microsoft being Microsoft builds it into Windows. That is definitely not monopolistic. I open um I open Game Jolt and the first thing I see is Baldi's Basics Plus.
Again, it's basically just indie games.
Skibbity Tower. Oh, the Skibbity Tower. FNAF Skibbity
What?
Toilet Mod Remixed Invasion.
I
Relentless
never said it was any good.
Shooter.
I just said it's for indie games.
Time at Baldi's 2, second grade.
Second grade.
This website
No,
is
no, no, no,
definitely
no.
for kids.
I Funnily enough, I really don't think so. I think it's just you got a really weird first FYP page. I don't know why I said page twice. FYP literally has the word page in its acronym, but most people use it for like the actually good Five Nights at Freddy's fan games. But I had no idea that the Skibbity games were making their way onto Game Jolt. That's really depressing. I only
Yeah.
went on there and pre-saved like a couple that I wanted to play for videos, but the majority of the ones I pre-saved either got canceled or they're not finished yet.
I don't really. I don't know. I play games as I see them. I don't really go looking out for games and on those type of things. I really don't want to risk malware. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I can kind of see it. Itch usually nowadays is on the like PS1 horror game kind of thing.
Is it now?
That's usually what it seems to be. I don't know. I just know Itch and Game Jolt are usually what people go to if they want to get like indie games. Steam, Microsoft, and Epic are usually for more like AAA titles.
I prefer Steam if I can, but some games aren't on Steam, which is whatever, I guess. Um, yeah.
It's very not splooshy.
So
I bet they don't even know the origin of splooshy.
probably not. I don't think a lot of people do.
I want my Call of Duty very sugary, thank you. I literally went and rewatched that clip the other day.
That is
It's
not
very
close to
salty,
what it
not very.
is.
What?
Talking to chat.
Oh. Crunker's very saltily.
It's not splooshy.
You can find the origin clip of the word saltily on our website, I know that for a fact. I'm pretty sure that was a Black Ops 2 session where I said that.
Session.
Session. Actually, that was a Black Ops 2 session where I said that.
Do you have a session?
I have a mental deficiency.
No. Don't say that. That's something the Skyrim gamer would say.
It just turns into another stream where we shit on Skyrim Gamer.
Let's not do that, okay?
Nah. Skyrim Gamer is very Skyrim Gamer.
Are you a Skyrim gamer?
I think there's a little bit of Skyrim gamer in all of us.
You know what Skyrim gamer can't do?
What can't he do?
The segue to the end of the stream. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, or follow this podcast if you guys liked it. We are on Twitter, YouTube, tv4official.com especially. So I want to thank you all for listening / watching, depending on when you're listening or watching this. We will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.
Bye bye.